Ukrainian media is reporting right now that Zelensky is hiding away in a bunker under Kiev.
Hello, my fellow Americans. My name is Ethan. I am 100% authentic American. I love NASCAR and Donald Trump. Please pay attention. You can see from my American flag t-shirt that I constantly wear and my American flag profile picture. Ignore my thick Russian accent and my Russian spelling of words. I am 100% independent American journalist. Okay, so all joking aside, let's take a look at our friend Ethan Levins here, this totally independent American journalist, who's, if you look at his account and just take even 5 seconds of paying attention, it's very obvious that it's just blatantly a propaganda account, and if you research half of the videos he does, damn near everything he says is a lie. Ryan Macbeth here already did an in-depth analysis of one of his videos where he claimed Ukraine was committing a bunch of war crimes, which he responded to and then just committed logical fallacy after logical fallacy, just blatantly lying and strawman arguing what Ryan said. But I've noticed a couple things that he's done where he placates what Russian media says and intentionally just uses misleading information or posts stuff on wrong dates on purpose to create a sense of urgency within the audience and make himself seem like some sort of figure of authority on this issue. Now, for reference on my qualifications with this, my name is Anthony Scott. I served 10 years in the United States Marine Corps. 7 of my 10 years, I did combat marksmanship instruction and doctrine development. I also have over a decade in geopolitical and foreign affairs with advisory roles and other roles, specializing in the Middle East and Eastern Europe, and a little bit in Taiwan. I've also been to the front lines of Ukraine, voluntarily trained Ukrainian soldiers on my own dime. So I will not hide my bias, but I will be factual in everything that I state. Now let's get into it. Now, in this video, he's referring to what was supposed to be the Russian response to the Ukrainian drone attack that took out a multitude of Russian aircraft, including about half of their strategic long-range nuclear bombers that were prepped and openly stated by Russian media were going to attack the very next day. But one of the things he's going to do is actually try and pretend like this is a response to a different attack, which hasn't even been verified. He refers to the incident in Russia where 2 bridges with trains on them collapsed and a few civilians were killed, one of them being a military train. He just kind of leaves that part out, but also ignores that the Russian civilians have publicly come out on Russian Telegram and social media stating, hey, these bridges were doomed to collapse years ago. We've been telling the Russian government this for years, and they haven't done a damn thing about it. He's just going to ignore that and pretend this isn't about the Ukrainian drone attack known as Operation Spider's Web.
As the capital city is being shelled by Russian ballistic missile.
Well, to start with, shelling would imply like actual shells, artillery shells, not ballistic missiles. Russia launched a total of 407 two-slide drones, 36 cruise missiles, and 6 ballistic missiles. Pretty much everything hitting civilian targets, by the way.
After deciding to attack deep into Russian territory, escalating this conflict further, Zelensky is now making the people of Ukraine pay for his decision.
Notice the verbiage he uses there. Ukraine is escalating the conflict, and Zelensky is making his people pay. Zelensky, the leader of the country that has been invaded in an all-out full-scale war, somehow by defending their own country, by being the victim here, they are the ones to blame, and now the Ukrainian people are going to pay even more than they already are. This is intentional manipulation and appeal to emotion to try and make you feel like, clearly Ukraine should have just sat there and taken it. This entire thing is Zelensky's fault. Just pay very attention to verbiage exactly like that.
Air raid alerts are for over half of the regions in Ukraine, with severe alerts right now only in the capital city of Kiev.
Yeah, well, if you look at that map, it's severe alerts everywhere, not just Kiev, and this is a daily occurrence. This is nothing new. This is not different than any other day in Ukraine. When I was in Ukraine myself, every single day we had drones and missiles incoming. If you look at the map of Ukraine, an air raid alert map, any day of the week, it will repeatedly look like this multiple times a day. This isn't like, oh my God, this is historical. This is the first time they've done this. This isn't like this is just blatant manipulation and gaslighting.
As the Russian retaliation has started, early on we're seeing strikes on military troop training facilities.
Really, training facilities, like in the city of Lutsk, as you can see here, far away from the Ukrainian front lines. But all these other targets that are being blown up in the city, can you prove to me that all of these individual targets, including that apartment building there, was a training facility. This video from Kharkiv showing all of these buildings being blown up. Can you prove to me that that hotel there on the left side is a military training facility, or that the military uses it? What about that apartment building down to the right, or that market in between them in the center? Can you prove that any of these buildings and facilities are related to the Ukrainian military whatsoever?
Which is different than Zelensky's strategy yesterday whenever he ordered a bridge to blow up over a civilian train moving in Russia. As you see, this civilian train had this bridge fall down on it, where 9 people lost their lives, including children.
Notice the appeal to emotion with children here too, because when Ukrainian children are blown up or kidnapped in mass by the thousands and taken to Russia and put up for adoption and have their names changed and forced to speak Russian, nobody says a word. When Ukrainian children get traded in prisoner of war exchanges, which weird that Russia's exchanging Ukrainian children, nobody says a word. But when a couple of children die in what even the locals in Russia blame on the government and not, in fact, Ukrainian armed forces, now it's a problem. It's just the double standard here and appeal to emotion is very apparent and very manipulative. And if you've watched anything about Ukrainian news and what's going on in the war, you would know that Russia kills Ukrainian children every single day.
So after that escalation...
Wait. So Ukraine's escalation, meaning we'll just ignore the fact that we're already in an all-out full-scale war where Russia is on their 6th wave of conscription and has lost over 10,000 tanks and it confirmed over 300,000 KIA, just according to Russian publicly available obituaries, not counting Wagner or North Korean soldiers. This is the escalation. We're not even going to count, the incursion into Kursk or Belgorod. It's this one instance of a bridge collapsing, or 2 bridges collapsing, which were directly blamed by the locals on the Russian government. That's an escalation that Russia just cannot tolerate. Are you fucking kidding me? Again, the gaslighting and manipulation here, this is textbook Russian propaganda.
Zelensky decides to start attacking deep into Russia, escalating this war, and putting rumors out there that Russia is going to declare war on Ukraine.
Declare war? Oh my god, what are they gonna do? Invade Ukraine? Oh, they're just going to keep lobbing missiles and drones at civilians and killing civilians like they do every single day. So nothing changes.
Which would open up a lot of new options for the Russians, including a certain type of weapon.
I see. We're referring to nukes. That thing that Russia's already stated multiple times publicly that they are fully within their right to use. Remember, everyone, the Russian government sees the areas of Luhansk and Donetsk and Zaporizhia as their territories already, meaning they consider those as part of Russia, meaning technically, according to Russian nuclear doctrine, because there's Ukrainian troops fighting in those regions, even though Russia never even fully controlled them anyways, Russia is fully within their right to use nuclear weapons at any point, because according to their nuclear doctrine, it is a threat to the home front, it is a threat to Russian proper land. Just food for thought here. Now he does his little sign-off here where he shows a photo of both Trump and Putin together, where he does this classic thing that Russian media and propagandists always do. It shows that, no, see, Trump and Putin are friends. Russia and America should be friends. We are really allies being divided by the rest of the West and the deep state. It's a classic tactic. Despite the fact that on Russian state-owned media, meaning literally they can't say anything unless the Kremlin approves it, on a daily basis, they call for the death and downfall of America. Something that they say openly within Russia, but try to tell the Western world that they're not doing. And for some reason, people in America and the rest of the West just don't understand this or don't want to believe it. This dude pretending to be an independent American journalist with his American flag shirts and his flag behind him. It's basically the equivalent of Hassan Piker when he tries to convince people that he's a true socialist, that he cares about distribution of wealth, while also being a multi-millionaire who sits on his ass all day while his mom brings him chicken nuggies and he wears shirts that say, "Make the rich pay." You're not fooling anyone except for the dumbest of people. Now, the best thing you could do when you guys see a channel like this is just do a basic surface level amount of research, literally anything, because people like this will lie and manipulate and tell half-truths or water it down or just use yellow journalism where they omit things. intentionally to manipulate you. Like in a video where he posted here saying that North Korea has now officially entered the war in Ukraine.
Breaking news, North Korea has just entered the war in Ukraine. Following a meeting with the Russian Minister of Defense, Kim Jong-un has pledged his, quote, unconditional support for the Russians.
This is some big new breaking thing. It's Ukraine's fault. It's the United States' fault. And Ukraine should just lay down and take it. But intentionally leaves out the fact that if you check this Al Jazeera article here, this actually happened in November of 2024, where they officially signed documents on it. And even before November of 2024, there was already North Korean troops fighting Ukrainian troops in this war. But again, this is somehow some new breaking news that he is the first one to bring to his followers, and they just eat it up. So something like this.
As the hours go by and we're getting more information on the Russian strike on Ukraine coming up, it's looking more likely this will be a joint attack on Ukraine and NATO.
Okay, a joint attack. A joint attack with who? Who is Russia combining arms with to conduct this attack?
When I say this, I mean that in Western Ukraine, NATO holds about 40% of its total supplies to Ukraine in equipment and munitions in the open.
Well, NATO doesn't hold anything in Ukraine. NATO's not in Ukraine. Again, notice how they intentionally use manipulation to imply that NATO is involved in this war because there is countries within NATO that have supplied arms to Ukraine, and some of those arms are in Ukraine. That is not NATO. There is not NATO troops in Ukraine. There's not NATO personnel in Ukraine. This is not a thing. It is just a blatant lie used to manipulate you and gaslight you into, again, somehow blaming NATO and Ukraine.
And as more reports come in on detailing the Russian response to the spiderweb attacks, it looks like Russia will be striking these as well as Ukrainian cities, which is an escalation to NATO.
Well, it's not an escalation to NATO because they didn't do anything to NATO. And again, this is just daily stuff for Russia and Ukraine. Like, they do this on a daily basis. This isn't breaking. This isn't big. This isn't special. This is daily life living in Ukraine, where Russia just smacks around Ukrainian civilian infrastructure and cities. He's got a bunch of videos like this, guys. I've had one person send me a video a couple days ago or about a week ago, and now I've actually had 3 more people sending me the videos from his channel. I'm gonna even be going through the ones he's made on Israel because the same treasure trove of misinformation, blatant yellow journalism, and blatant lying there as well. Don't fall for stuff like this. Ethan, if you see this, would love to have you on a discussion. Would love to have you on a debate on both the Israel-Gaza war and the Russia-Ukraine war. Because I think you're just a blatant propagandist. I think you are fed talking points like many other Russian propagandists. Or you could just be getting them off of Twitter and Telegram, which is a very popular thing for Russian propagandists. I don't think you actually know anything about this war. I don't think you know anything about either wars. I think you're okay with what Russia is doing to Ukraine. You don't give a single fuck about the Ukrainian civilians. And I really don't think you care about America either. I think you're placating to the American people and trying to pretend like you're just some grand person that cares about America. And you don't want to see America involved in wars. And how dare Ukraine and Israel drag us into wars? Again, would love to have a debate or a discussion with you because I don't think you know anything.